Peace, peace, peace. So we had a wise man's understanding on being born to that power. And that's going to see, power's going to born God, y'all. God going to born, made me just think of God Bill, right? And so, you traveling into knowledge in the culture, going to bring you right back to the power, right? And then you could go a lot of places with the power, but you know how they always bring the power. You'll hear them say, well, knowledge is power, right? And if you look at the math on its face value, you might not see that the second manifestation. Because when you have it as equality, that's the third manifestation. Really, that's the fourth manifestation if you take it from there. If you're saying the actual word itself would be the first manifestation, but actually the first manifestation would be the number itself. So you say the number itself, the numeral, is the first manifestation. And the second manifestation is the knowledge, the word itself called knowledge. And then the third manifestation would be 96, or born equality. And then the fourth manifestation, and on and on and on, right? Because so from born equality, you're going to hit knowledge and the power. There's what I'm talking about. So knowledge is power, because see, that's how the correlation works. That's what I was saying. It's off the chain. Once you get the formula and you say, oh, I'm gonna use everything because it correlates. Depends on what's happening, how it moves, but it'll make itself known that it's the master. The mathematics, it'll let it be known that it is the master and that it is. No matter which way you flavor it, it's right and exact. You just don't understand those. For lack of a better word, for clarity, just like when we use black, I'll say quabalistics. The quabalistic of the numerology and all these different ways of seeing the numbers, from astrologically to metaphysically or in the physical plane, world of fleshless things, whatever the case may be, it doesn't matter. It's a universal language. It's mathematics. See, that's the key. So even the animals, they be saying, "Oh no, they don't have any understanding of numbers," and you know that how? Yes, but see, we're gonna go into the lab. I'm just saying, where's your experiment that proves that? Cause I don't think that's not what my experience in the lab proved. Under conditions of just observation. We're gonna do the what? Knowledge. See? So we got away from the end. Because when I see 23, I also see N, Now Nation N. You know what I'm saying? I'll see that also. Because I know the end of the devil's civilization was 1915, 14, 13. Constellationally, zodiac constellations, where they were at, or your 12 jewels. 12 jewels, you could replace the 12 signs of the zodiac with the 12 jewels. And use the old ancient names for those stars and constellations and draw the actual constellation out that it's pointing to. They're still there, believe it. That's how it's easier to calculate the Asiatic calendar using it, because the Asiatic calendar and the zodiac are the same. They use the same thing, 60s, and they use 12s, and they use stuff like that. Right, they'll go with a 72, they'll have a 120, they'll have a 360, 25,000, 24,000, 896, they'll have those numbers. 2,000, 083.33 up to 2,160, they'll have that at plus or minus is in there like that. So you'll see that. But anyway, if you go, the reason why we went there is because we were saying the wisdom, understanding, bring about the power. And so power going to show and prove God, knowledge in the culture, and then power come back to itself. Hey, I didn't make the rules up, but you can see power could be the God. Feel me? So, I would see it in triplets because it would be like Allah, the firstborn, directly connected with Allah, right? And then their fruit. There's the 1, 2, 3, knowledge, wisdom, understanding. And then you could see knowledge, wisdom, understanding in 360 because you could knowledge 120, wisdom 120, understand 120, 360, like that. So just because they said they knowledge, wisdom, understand 120 doesn't mean they didn't get an understanding from having those plus lessons, because they damn for sure explain whatever on whatever level you want it to be explained on. Elijah will tell you exactly what he meant when he said what he said. And you can get those 104 books and read them yourself and let WD ask you the question. That's what ended up happening. With the Father, you didn't have to do that. He gave you the understanding. And so now you can answer the question. You quote the degree. But now when do you ask the question and answer it now? You got to get to the point where a scientist is asking the question and then he goes to the lab to get the answer through observation. When he's wisdoming what his observation is, that's when wisdom comes into play. You have to have observation first before you can wisdom something. You might even have observation, now you wisdoming it to get an understanding. You know, through the wisdom came the understanding. Because you were observing. The knowledge is the point that you are at when you are a body of accumulated facts. You're accumulating them. From there, you're going to see the wisdom, the fluid motion of whatever is taking place. If you are observing the life patterns of a turtle, then through observation, how you feed them, artificial environment, or go to the real environment and observe there. You can do a controlled environment or a natural environment. Natural environment, of course, you're going to get a better result on your readings, right? But for laboratory purposes, you could raise a pet and get a good understanding of what they're doing and what they're not doing if you give them the freedom to move as they feel like it. They'll still do their thing if you know, because it'll be a safer environment for them. They won't have to worry about predators, because on the animal world, it's a chain of events that travel up the circle of life. So you could become part of the circle of life based on which carnivore you run up on. If you're omnivore, herbivore, right? The plants really get eaten by everybody. They just stand there. That's why they give up stuff like seeds and fruits, and they try to give you their fruit so that you don't eat their root and kill them. That's what they don't want you to do. They don't want you to get at their root. That's why it's in the ground, going deep to get nourishment from the soil. The ecosystem is to flip around. The soil is the foundation to the plants. And that's what they use to make themselves mathematically correct with this environment. You have to do the same thing. You have to make sure you're right. Because that 120 will take you right there. Everybody uses the short term and they say 120, but actually you're using 120 as a map to get the accumulated facts that you need. It's telling you what to do. Wisdom Builder Destroy degree in the 140 is telling me I definitely need to know anatomy and physiology and all that, it's sideline sciences. I mean, if you're studying anatomy and physiology, you're going to eventually want to study a point where you get to, you're going to specialize in. I say go for the whole chemistry and everything. understand the physical composition. But nutrition, understanding cells and what they do, and nutrition is very important if you're going to be a healer. Because if all you're going to do is give the people pharmaceuticals, you can make money that way. You're not really a healer, though. You have to heal the people mind and body and soul. You don't have to be all religious with it, but you need to get at them and let them. They're going to look to you if you're the medical profession in the family. They don't even know. You could be a paramedic. They're still going to look to you. Because it has something to do with anatomy and physiology. They're going to figure you should know it. You study the field. Even if you don't, you can definitely know about nutrition, because the system itself doesn't teach nutrition. So you're going to have to learn that on your own. You should know what fuels your body. If you listen to the systems I understand of how to fuel your body, you'll be dead or so disabled when you get into your 50s and up. Your next half of your life won't be great. The first half will be good. You'll start seeing problems in your 40s. Hell, they starting to see problems now in their 30s. Some people coming out the womb with problems, but that means they really got a lot of poison in them for generations, which we do as a people have a lot of poison in us for generations, unless your parents had knowledge of self from whichever ways. Like some families are fortunate, they have a couple of generations of knowledge of self. And so their dietary law is different, and so their reading and understanding of accumulated facts is different. I mean, you change your diet, they tell you that it doesn't change shit. Oh, there's geniuses that ate bad. Yeah, but you ain't no genius and you're eating bad. So just because there's an exception to the rule, there's always some genetic code that jumps out for the needs of the service. The people need someone. The vacuum must be filled. So the people need him. That's what he said. The vacuum must be filled. So people need the truth. They need it. It's inside you to want to give it to them. If you know it. If you don't know it, of course, how are you going to give somebody the truth and you don't even know the truth? See? That's the problem. But anyway, long story short, the God has said, how long have you, not how long have you been not eating meat, but how long have you been not been eating grain? And I was like, now that's the question. The real question is, how long have I been off the grain? And I can see the change in the physical body. I can also see what was happening to me, because I was just like the other vegans. I didn't know. I was learning as I was going too, but through my mistakes, I can fix everybody else's shit, because I had my own lab, myself as the lab, and I kept, as the God would say, copious notes. And I can refer back to them, and I'm looking and I'm saying, how did I let that slide by? That I didn't notice it, that I was getting poisoned. And I said I didn't let it slide by. What happened was, my economics wasn't capable of allowing me to take the classes so I could understand the physical body from nutritional standpoint. They don't teach that in school. And I didn't even know to look for that. What happened was, because I wasn't looking for anything, I didn't even know anything was wrong with me. I thought I was perfect. I just thought that I didn't know how to work out right. That's what I was, because I couldn't decrease body fat, increase muscle mass at the rate that I used to be able to do it at. I used to be able to not work out and don't do shit and just go work out and be cut the fuck up. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I felt like I'm losing strength as I'm working out. And once I figured that out, I said, damn. And then regular science was saying some old stupid shit like, oh, don't worry about it, you're just getting old. No, get the fuck out of here. That's not how the physical body works. It doesn't work that way. It always wants to be right and exact. You doing something that's making it not right and exact. And I didn't even know where to start. So I went back to the problem book. I started doing the knowledge. And then I went and I got a full physical. Took 6 months to check everything. Going back and forth, letting them check this, and get all the numbers. Now I knew where my numbers were at. That's why I said their machines are wonderful. Don't take their advice. They have no idea what to tell you what to do, except for maybe the ones that do know the secrets, because I discussed it with some of them. And they weren't really from here. A lot of them were Mediterranean doctors that knew the secret. And or East Indian doctors, they knew too. I didn't talk to any, per se, Chinese doctors or the Asian doctors from that side. The Chinese, Korean, Japanese. I didn't talk to any of them, except when I was in Korea and we was skipping around to Okinawa, Japan, all that kind of stuff. But I didn't know to ask those questions, so I didn't get those answers because I wasn't even looking for that. I was looking for karate. And so I missed it there. That's why I'm just letting you see the big picture. So you can relate it to yourself. So in other words, me trying to increase muscle mass, decrease body fat is how I stumbled across glyphosate, wheat, the number of chromosomes today is not 10,000 years ago. Einkorn does not. The 10,000 years ago, 5,000 years ago, 2,500 years ago, 2,000 years ago. Even if they were using spelt, there's nowhere near this stuff you see they masquerading as bread. The foundational product that all the companies use the same wheat from the same company, Monsanto. So even though they may buy it differently in different ways of buying it, he may buy it already as flour. He said, "No, I want the whole thing. No, I don't want you to process it. I'll do it myself." Doesn't matter. Even he was getting it right off the farm himself and then processing it from the ground to him. It's poison from the gate. It's already genetically modified before you even get it. They already put the poison in it before you receive it. So it's not that I didn't do anything to it. I kept it just like it was. Yeah, I know. It's poison from the gate. It's not einkorn. It's wheat. And they make you believe that wheat and einkorn are the same thing and that they had wheat in the ancient days, but they didn't. They didn't even know what that is. That's new. That's after 1960 and shit like that when they started with this new shit here they got with the glyphosate and all that in it. So you can check that yourself. But anyway, that's what made me see the wheat. So you talking about it. I would say first I needed to discover look. It's not like I didn't have money to go do it. I just didn't have the need in my head to say I'm going to spend my money on that when I don't even know to look for that. Right? So you don't look for it. But when you do look for it and you're saying, "Oh, these classes are kind of expensive," you could get around that though. There's people teaching it. It's just harder because you got to keep jumping around. If you don't have a anatomy and physiology background, like maybe you were a medic in the military, paramedic in the military, or maybe you were a fireman now, or you had some kind of training in that area. Maybe in school you were good with science and biology, anatomy and physiology. And so it's easy for you to understand the cell structure and how cells work, plant cells and animal cells. And once you understand that, how they nourish themselves and what you need to nourish them, and how it works and what the body actually wants. It wants protein, it wants fat, it wants vitamins and minerals. What else does it want? Right? It wants protein, it wants fat, it wants vitamins, it wants minerals. That's what it really wants. The body wants that. The cells want that. But how you get that to them is determines what you use as a fuel source. Somebody might try to get nutrient. See, if you were a termite, you could get nutrients from what termites eat. Whatever termites eat, you don't eat that for fuel to get to the sun. You have to eat what your physical composition calls for. Each physical body on Earth, from one-cell animals to us, has a certain fuel source that the body automatically makes you want. And is automatically built and structured to do that. You're built and structured to have to be able to read and reason, have reason, so you need to be able to have food that is readily available. That shit grows on the top of the earth, you can just grab it and eat it, right? Shit that falls out of trees, you could just wait for it to drop. Shit that grows in bushes, you could just pull it off. Even if you were gonna go for vines, you can just pull them off the vines. If you was gonna go for roots, you have to dig those up. So you're gonna need a tool. That's what you would use, a tool to dig up roots. Like that. So you could do all of that. And then if you said, but you would have already knew how to get protein from the plants. Because every plant on earth has protein in it. Don't let them tell you, oh, you can get a protein deficiency. Not if you're eating a well-balanced plant-based protein. You don't even have to get B12. Your body will make that too if you're balanced. It makes it itself. It doesn't even need. You got the same bacteria that's in the earth. You got them in you. Why you think glyphosate might fuck you up too? They trying to act like you ain't symbiotic with the earth, like you're a separate species. No, you're not. You're an earthling. Everything on the planet, that's why my science goes right with Bruce Lee. He's like, everything under this. We're all earthlings at the end of the day. We can say whatever the fuck we want. We're all earthlings. Just some of the species on Earth can commingle and reproduce. Some species can't reproduce. No, I take that back. All species can interact, but all species can't reproduce together. Certain species have full level of reproduction between any of the levels of that species. So, in other words, if I'm a red-eared turtle, there's other turtles, they're all the same species, they're all turtles, but they don't all make procreation together. And they can't. See, they can't. Sea turtles and red-eared turtle can't make a baby. See what I'm saying? They're not even the same like that. One is a sea turtle, the other one's like a pond turtle, and then you got land turtles. But all land turtles can't get with all land turtles, and all sea turtles can get with all sea turtles. See how it works? Because they're all the same, except for all sea turtles have levels too of their sea turtle species. That kind doesn't get with that one. It's like 3 or 4 or 5. Correct me if I'm wrong. But anyway, they have levels too. But now look at canines. See how their level is? Wolf, coyote, fox, dog, all of them. If I'm not mistaken, jackal and all that. All the canines, in other words, except for the African canine, the wild dog. He can't get with none of them. He's not them. He's not them. He doesn't mix with them. They can't make babies. They not the same then. But a wolf can make a baby with a dog because they're all the same. They all been there together. Ain't all that they came from this and he came from this wolf. No. The fauna says they're lying. They're lying. It's not true. They all were there around the same time. You see them all there. I don't see no jumping around. I don't see wolves there and all of a sudden they turn into foxes and get the fuck out of here. That's not what happens. They're all there at the same time. Go look yourself. Go look at the excavation points. Look at the damn dirt. You'll say, oh, Divine got a point. All those fossils, they're all there. On their own levels. You see level of extinctions over millennia. One species will rule. And they just keep going on down. Because at the animal level. And you'll see, okay, I say something that they're not going to like. like 590,000 years. That level in the dirt. We see a Asiatic footprint. We can tell an Asiatic footprint from a European footprint, from a East Asian footprint, from a... You can tell. Just like I could tell a fox, a wolf, a coyote. Doesn't mean they can't mate. They ain't the same. They the same people. They the same species. Believe it or they couldn't make a baby, and the baby... Okay, look, I'm going to show you something. The species is so close that it could make a baby, but the baby can't make a baby. That happens when it's like that. If it's not the same. That's Earth rules. So an amoeba that gets with an amoeba that is not the same species of it cannot reproduce. And if they're close enough that they can reproduce, that baby can't make a baby. See? You become sterile. It kills it right there. So that's throughout nature. Anything that nature does, it helps you, fixes you. It's like autophagy. It does the same thing. Just on, if you look at your physical composition, the whole universe does the exact same thing. It'll do autophagy. It'll fast. It'll do all the things you do. You should be doing it. You should be letting your cells renew. Anyway, I'm out. Peace.